Hey everyone, today, let's dive into a topic that's close to my heart, love. Love, the kind that heals and nurtures, has a magical power to not only lift us up, but also to mend the wounds in our hearts. When we love someone, it's not just about enjoying the beauty and the good things about them. It's about taking responsibility. It's about sharing the pain they've experienced, especially when they're struggling with something as deep as depression. Being there for someone with depression isn't easy, and it often requires sacrifices on our part. The biggest challenge is the patience needed. Imagine being with someone who's struggling with emotional turmoil. It's like trying to calm a beast inside of them, a beast that doesn't always stay quiet. It can lash out with hurtful words or actions that can leave us feeling disrespected or even attacked. We might be confronted with negativity, and if we aren't careful, it might even make us feel like we're the ones being blamed or made the villain in the story. But here's where love plays its part. Love demands patience. It's easy to want to react or defend ourselves when we're hurt, but reacting impulsively could push the person even further away. They might withdraw even more, and it becomes harder to be the support they need. We need to understand that people with depression don't want to hurt anyone. They don't choose to act out. They're trapped in a cycle of pain they can't escape from. So when we reach out to help, we need to do so with a kind heart, with understanding, and with patience, and not just for a few attempts. This isn't a 3 strikes and you're out situation. This is a journey, a long, often difficult path that requires compassion every step of the way. I want to share a story with you. It's about a lioness who was pregnant and struggling to find food. Despite her difficulties, she kept searching, hoping to catch something. One day, while hunting, she saw her prey but had to take a risky leap across a cliff to catch it. If she failed, she could not only lose her life, but also her unborn cub. After much consideration, she jumped, but tragically, she lost her cub. For an entire year, she wandered, grieving her loss, but she never gave up hope. One day, while walking through the forest, she noticed a peculiar sight. A baby monkey was acting strangely like a lion cub. Upon closer inspection, she thought it was her lost cub, and so she pursued it. She called out, "My child, I am your mother." But the baby monkey, of course, rejected her. After a long and frustrating chase, the lioness realized she needed to be patient. She couldn't force the monkey to recognize her as her cub. So she stayed calm, and over time she showed the monkey love, care, and understanding. Eventually, the monkey warmed up to her. In the end, it wasn't until the lioness showed consistent love and patience that the monkey realized she was her real mother. This moment was the turning point where the cub finally recognized who it was. The mother lioness knew it was a long game, and only through her steadfast patience and love did she get the results she desired. This story, in many ways, mirrors what it's like to help someone with depression. The person struggling may not recognize your efforts at first. They may push you away, not because they don't appreciate your love, but because they're lost in their pain. Your job is to be patient, to keep showing them that you're there for them, no matter how long it takes. It's essential to understand that depression makes people feel isolated, like they're fighting their inner battles alone. They may have a tendency to push others away, especially those who are closest to them. But that's where we come in, those who love them. We have to be there for them, and not just in words but through actions. Being emotionally present without judgment is crucial. Sometimes we think that giving advice or trying to fix their problems is the best way to help. But the truth is, sometimes the most supportive thing you can do is just be there, quietly, patiently, and with compassion. You need to allow them to feel safe with you, to express themselves without the fear of being judged or misunderstood. It's not an easy task. It's about being emotionally available, being a steady presence, and learning how to maintain your own emotional balance while offering that support. As a caregiver, it's important to check in with yourself to make sure you're still grounded and not losing your own sense of peace while helping someone else. Through this process, your loved one might start to trust you more, and over time they'll begin to see you as a source of stability and strength. But it's a long road. It takes time, patience, and a deep, unwavering love. Just like the lioness, you have to make a decision. Do you want to help them through their darkest times, even if it means sacrificing your own comfort, your own peace, to make sure they know they are loved? Because in the end, that's what it's all about. Showing them that they are not alone, that they are worth fighting for, and that with love, healing is possible. Now, let's continue exploring how we can best support someone dealing with depression and how we, as caregivers, can maintain our emotional health through this challenging journey. When you're helping someone with depression, it's essential to recognize that it's not about fixing them. Depression isn't something you can solve overnight. It's a complex condition, and healing is a slow and delicate process. What you can offer, though, is consistency, understanding, and unconditional love. The process of helping someone who's struggling is much like tending to a garden. You don't rush the growth, but with time, attention, and care, the plants will eventually thrive. One of the most difficult aspects of supporting someone with depression is the emotional toll it can take on you. It's a tough balancing act. You need to support them, but you also need to make sure you're not neglecting your own well-being. It's very easy to burn out when you're constantly giving, and if you're not careful, it can start to feel like you're losing yourself in the process. This is why self-care is so important. Self-care doesn't just mean taking a break here and there. It's about finding sustainable ways to recharge your emotional batteries so that you can continue to be there for your loved one. You need to create space for your own healing too. Whether it's through meditation, exercise, spending time with friends, or even just taking time to enjoy your own hobbies, it's essential to make sure you have outlets for your own emotions. This helps prevent emotional exhaustion and keeps you grounded. Another critical aspect of supporting someone with depression is being able to recognize when they need space. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, they may not be ready to open up, and that's okay. It's tempting to want to fix things and to push them to talk, but we must learn to respect their boundaries. There are times when offering silent support, simply being physically present, is the best thing we can do. But there's a key element to this. We need to make sure our loved one knows that we're there for them, even if they're not ready to reach out just yet. This is where the power of nonverbal support comes in. Little gestures, like leaving them a note, cooking them a meal, or even offering a quiet hug, can remind them that they're not alone. These actions show that you care, and though they might not respond immediately, your love is still felt. You see, depression often makes people feel isolated, as though they are a burden to those around them. They may feel unworthy of love or support, thinking that they are somehow undeserving of your care. It's vital that we counter this by demonstrating that love is unconditional. Depression distorts their perception of themselves, and it's our job to remind them that they are valuable and that their struggle doesn't make them less deserving of love. This is why patience is such a critical component of the journey. You may encounter setbacks. There will be times when the person with depression withdraws or when their mood fluctuates wildly, and you might feel helpless. But even in those moments, patience is key. It's important to resist the urge to push them to snap out of it or to get over it. Depression is not something that can be easily shaken off. It's a constant emotional battle, and your loved one may not have the strength to fight it on their own just yet. That's where you come in. It's easy to become frustrated or even feel resentful when someone isn't responding the way we want them to. But it's crucial to remember that this is not their fault. They are not deliberately pushing you away. Their mental state is simply making it harder for them to connect, and that's where your patience is tested. We need to learn to tolerate silence, to be okay with not always receiving the response we want, and to trust that the seeds of love and care we plant will in time take root. However, that doesn't mean we should completely shut down our own needs. As caregivers, we must also know when to step back for a moment to gather our own strength. Taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary for the long-term care of others. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're feeling emotionally drained, it will be harder to be the support your loved one needs. The key here is balance. It's about finding a middle ground where you're giving and receiving in equal measure. You help them, but you also take care of yourself. You support them, but you don't lose yourself in the process. We also need to understand that healing from depression is not linear. There will be days of progress, but there will also be setbacks. And that's okay. It's easy to get discouraged, especially when it feels like there's no end in sight. But healing is a gradual process, and even the smallest steps forward are worth celebrating. Sometimes you might feel like the progress is too slow, like it's not worth it. But this is another place where your patience is tested. We often want to see quick results, to feel like we're making a difference, but true healing takes time. You might have days where you think things are getting better, and then the next day, they take a step backward. But that's part of the journey, and it doesn't mean you're failing. It means that the process is working, even if it doesn't look like it all the time. Through all of this, the most important thing to remember is that love is the constant thread that will hold everything together. Your love, your patience, and your unwavering belief in their strength will help them find their way through the storm. You may not always be able to solve their problems or make them feel better instantly, but your consistent presence will be the anchor that keeps them grounded. When you're helping someone with depression, always remember that you're not alone in this journey either. You have the strength to support them, but you also need to lean on others and seek help when you need it. Being a caregiver doesn't mean you have to carry the weight by yourself. Don't hesitate to reach out to other people or professionals for support. You can't be everything to your loved one, and it's okay to ask for help. Now that we've talked about patience, understanding, and the importance of love, let's dive into another crucial aspect of helping someone with depression: setting healthy boundaries. Boundaries are a vital component of maintaining a sustainable caregiving relationship, not just for the person you're supporting, but for you as well. As we discussed earlier, helping someone with depression can be emotionally taxing. If you don't set clear and healthy boundaries, you might find yourself overwhelmed and emotionally drained, which can lead to burnout. Establishing boundaries is not about building walls between you and the person you're supporting, but rather creating a safe, respectful space where both of you can thrive. Why boundaries matter? Boundaries help prevent you from becoming overly enmeshed with your loved one's emotional struggles. It's easy to feel like you have to carry their pain along with them, but that's not sustainable. You're not a therapist, unless you are, and while your emotional support is invaluable, you also need to protect your own mental health. Without boundaries, you might start feeling responsible for their well-being, and that pressure can become overwhelming. Setting boundaries also helps the person with depression recognize that you care about them, but that you're not enabling them to remain stuck in their struggles. Sometimes, people with depression can develop a dependency on others, relying on them for constant emotional validation or support. While it's important to be there for them, it's equally important to ensure they don't become overly dependent on you to the point where they neglect their own healing process. Boundaries help maintain a healthy balance in the relationship. How to set boundaries with compassion. Know your limits. The first step in setting boundaries is knowing your own limits. Be clear with yourself about what you can and cannot handle. Understand your emotional capacity and recognize when you're reaching your limit. For instance, if you're feeling exhausted or emotionally drained, it's okay to take a step back. You're not abandoning them. You're simply taking care of yourself so that you can continue being supportive. Be honest and direct. Setting boundaries requires clear communication. Be honest about your limits in a kind, non-judgmental way. For example, you might say, "I understand you're going through a tough time, and I want to be there for you. However, I need to take some time for myself to recharge so I can be the best support I can be." This statement communicates both your care for them and your need to take a break. It doesn't make you selfish. It makes you responsible for your own well-being. Create space for self-care. Self-care isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. When you're helping someone with depression, you're pouring a lot of emotional energy into them. Without proper self-care, you'll eventually burn out. Schedule time for yourself, whether it's for physical activities, hobbies, or just a quiet moment alone. This time allows you to recharge and come back as a better, more balanced support system. It's important to remember that you're not abandoning the person in need. You're making sure you're strong enough to be there for them in the long run. Respect their boundaries too. Boundaries are a two-way street. While you're setting your own, it's essential to respect the boundaries of the person you're supporting. People with depression may have moments when they need space, and that's okay. Just because they're not responding to your offers of help doesn't mean they don't appreciate it. Sometimes people with depression retreat inwardly as a way of coping. Don't take it personally if they push you away. Instead, let them know that you respect their space and are there when they're ready to talk. Offer help within your boundaries. It's easy to feel guilty about setting boundaries, especially when it involves someone you care deeply about. You might feel like you're letting them down, but in reality, setting healthy boundaries ensures that you're able to continue helping in the future. For example, if you feel that listening to their venting for hours at a time is draining you, you might suggest other ways they can get support, such as talking to a therapist. It's important to remember that you're not saying, "I don't care." You're saying, "I want to continue being a strong, supportive person for you, so I need to manage my own energy too." The role of communication and boundaries. Open and honest communication is at the heart of boundary setting. Let's say your loved one asks you for something you're not comfortable with or are unable to provide, like staying on the phone for an extended period or constantly needing emotional validation. In these situations, you can still express your support while acknowledging your boundaries. For example, "I really want to help, but I can't be on the phone for hours. How about we check in with each other at specific times during the day instead? That way, I can still be there for you, and you can get the support you need." By offering alternatives and setting clear expectations, you ensure that both of you are on the same page. You're still offering emotional support, but within limits that are healthy for both of you. Handling pushback. Sometimes, the person you're supporting might push back against your boundaries. They might feel abandoned or misunderstood. This is especially true if they are going through a particularly difficult period of depression. It's essential to be empathetic during these moments. Reassure them that you're not rejecting them. You're simply ensuring that you can continue to be the support they need. For instance, if they express frustration about needing space, you can respond with something like, "I know this is hard, and I don't want to make you feel alone. I care about you and want to be here for you, but I also need to take care of myself so that I can keep being a strong presence in your life." Remember, Setting boundaries doesn't mean you're cutting them off. It means you're protecting yourself from emotional burnout so that you can be there for them for the long haul. The long-term impact of healthy boundaries. When you set boundaries, you're showing your loved one that you value both yourself and them. Healthy boundaries actually strengthen the relationship over time because it allows both parties to function from a place of respect, love, and understanding. It also gives the person with depression the space they need to heal without feeling smothered or overly reliant on you. Healthy boundaries also model self-respect and emotional health. By practicing this with someone struggling with depression, you teach them that taking care of yourself is just as important as supporting others. In turn, they might learn final thoughts. In the end, supporting someone with depression is an ongoing journey. It's about love, patience, understanding, and finding ways to care for both your loved one and yourself. There will be moments of frustration, exhaustion, and even feelings of helplessness. But through it all, remember that love and patience are your most powerful tools. With clear boundaries, open communication, and unconditional care, you can help your loved one navigate their depression while also ensuring that you remain emotionally healthy. Thank you for listening, and I hope you found this helpful. Take care of yourself and your loved ones, and remember, you're not alone in this journey.